So another week has flown by and we're back with issue 67. And we take a trip back to 2005, which is when this sculpt came out. And we've got scouts with sniper rifles. Now, some of you may remember, I'm not a big fan of the older sculpts, just because I'm not much good at putting things together. And the older you go, or the longer you go back, the more difficult it gets to assemble this stuff. Anyway, we'll make this in a minute. But first of all, let's go through the magazine. So we've got Scouts with Sniper Rifles, Company and Chapter Champions, and Discover the Death Watch. So in this issue comes with Space Marine Scouts with Sniper Rifles, and they have the Death Guard commanders in their sights. Space Marine Scouts are expert infiltrators, and they often use the skills to sabotage the enemy. This can mean destroying enemy resources or taking out enemy leaders. Your new unit specialises in the latter, using their long-range weapons to deadly effect. To represent this in your games, we have included a new Scouts datasheet with sniper rifle rules, allowing you to target enemy commanders from afar, even if other units are closer. Happy hobbying. So we've got Space Marine Champions. Then we've got an article on Sergeant Tellion, one of the most experienced of the Ultramarines warriors. Then we've got Factions 1.6.7, the Death Watch. Then we've got a Death Watch showcase. I have to be honest, I don't care much for the showcases. I feel like they're there more to fill out the issues instead of actually giving us something interesting. Then we've got how to build our scouts, how to paint them. And then we've got Rules Mission 51, Kill the Leaders. And this new mission, the Space Marines must hunt down and eliminate the Death Guard's leaders. And then finally, we've got Scout Squad Datasheets 15, a new datasheet with all of the rules required to use your Space Marine Scout models on the tabletop. So that will combine the Scouts we had a good few issues ago with the sniper ones that we get today. Okay, so let's start with Space Marines Heroes 10, Company and Chapter Champions. Champions are the most skilled warriors in the chapter, tasked with dueling the most deadly of enemy warriors. Okay, so there's a little typo here. It doesn't make sense. However, what it should say is, whilst the Space Marine chapter's commanders are expert combatants, their primary duties are not to fight, but to lead and provide inspiration to their warriors. For this reason, each chapter and company command squad is usually accompanied by at least one champion. These are highly skilled warriors and veterans of hundreds of conflicts, and are expert duelists, even often more capable with the blade than the commanders they protect. And then we've got the chapter champion is perhaps the greatest swordsman in the entire chapter. He's armed with 2 power swords, which he wields with expert skill. And this is one from the Dark Angels Company. Okay, then we've got information on Sergeant Tellion. Torres Tellion is the most accomplished scout sergeant the Ultramarines have ever known. He's a veteran of over 3 centuries of combat. He has stalked the Imperium's enemies across hundreds of different worlds. Okay, interesting. He's got his war gear here as well. I wonder. So he isn't one of the models that we get today. Bionic Eye, Imperial Laurel, Camo Cloak, Marksman's Honour, which he's got dangling from his belt, Service Stud, the Quietus. Tellius's Stalker pattern bolt gun incorporates a silencer, a sophisticated scope, and a targeting system that is hardwired to his bionic eye. This weapon enhances his already incredible aim to a legendary level. And then the company icon. Okay, so that's great. So then we move over to the Death Watch. The elite warriors of the Death Watch are a sword with which to battle the many alien threats that face the Imperium. Theirs is an eternal watch, the long vigil against the Xenos foe. The warriors of the Death Watch are drawn from many Space Marine chapters across the galaxy, all of whom are required to provide a tithe of warriors to the Death Watch. Their duty is to use varied experience to fight the Imperium's alien enemies. Okay, that's good. More information there as well. Death Watch kill teams. Death Watch kill teams are groups of disparate warriors from different chapters, all of whom have their own cultures, specialities and methods of waging war. And then we've got the Deathwatch Showcase. So we've got a Venerable Dreadnought, some Intercessors and an Intercessor Sergeant, a Terminator with Heavy Flamer, a Veteran from the Space Wolves with a Chainsword, a Vanguard Veteran with Lightning Claws, a Veteran from the Iron Hands with the Combi Melter. Okay, the Corvus Blackstar is a transport and gunship. A gunship unique to the Deathwatch. And mighty fine it is as well. Then we've got how to build our Sniper Scouts. And then we've got how to paint them. And interestingly, something I'm looking forward to is there's a whole page dedicated to creating camouflage on the camo cloaks. And it shows 3 different types that we can do: city camo, desert camo, and forest camo. So it shows us how to layer all of the correct paints on there, and then it goes into different shadings to use depending on which one you want to do. And then it's got a bit about highlighting those cloaks as well. And this is really cool because I always am envious of people's painted camo cloaks. Some of them look so good, and I've not even tried it myself. So I do look forward to having a go at this, and it seems quite straightforward as well. So hopefully that will help us. Okay, so now Rules Mission 51, Hunters in the Shadows. As the front line shifts across Corvon 2, Captain Akaran's forces have increased their activities behind enemy lines. Space Marine Scout Snipers take positions in crumbling ruins, lying in wait for priority targets such as leaders, champions, and elite warriors. So this is the scenario itself. Kill the leaders. The Ultramarines have compiled a list of priority targets in the Death Guard ranks. Groups of Space Marine scouts stalk the planet's ruins, hunting the leaders, champions, and masterminds of the Death Guard invasion. When a target is identified, backup quickly arrives. The mission is designed to be played on 3 battle mats as laid in the layout shown above. Players roll off. The winner places the first mat and the loser places the second. The winner then places the third mat. Use the sides without printed terrain. Create the battlefield by placing terrain on the board before moving on to selecting deployment zones. See tutorial 1, setting up battlefield you need. Anyway, so we've got a maximum power rating of 30. The Death Guard have 3 command points. They must contain at least 3 models with the character keyword. And the Space Marines also 3 command points. The Space Marines army must contain at least 3 battle line units. Battle line units have this symbol, it's got the symbols on there, on their data sheets in the upper left corner. Surprised it doesn't say that they must have the Sniper Scouts, but anyway. Deployment, players rule off when they choose a deployment zone. Players then alternate deploying their units, beginning with a player who lost the roll. After all units have been deployed, the player who finished setting up their army first can choose to take the first or second turn. So the Space Marines gain 2 victory points for each enemy character eliminated. The Death Guard gains 2 victory points for eliminating an enemy battle line unit. Kill the enemy warlord is 1 victory point. It lasts for 5 battle rounds. Okay, so then we've got our updated squad data sheet, which is pretty cool. And then let's have a quick look to see what's coming up in the next 2 issues. So next week we have the Hemotrope Reactor, which is a nice looking piece of terrain. I've actually seen, if you go on the Warhammer 40k Conquest Facebook group, I think there's a guy on there that's actually put some LED lights in these. It'd be, if you have a look on there, it's really cool. I think it's that group. If not, it's just the normal 40k group. And then finally, in issue 69, we've got a Plague Marine champion who looks really cool with an awesome looking Nurgling there wearing a Death Guard helmet. So that's that. Right, let's make up these miniatures. So if you like the look of these miniatures, but you don't have access to this issue, what you can do is there's a link in the description for you to go and buy it on Amazon. If you do choose to buy it from Amazon, it will help this channel out a little bit. We'll get a little kickback from Amazon on that. So thank you to anyone who would be considering doing that. In fact, you don't have to buy this model. It can be anything you buy on Amazon within half an hour. Anyway, right, so let's have a look. This is actually a little bit less problematic than they usually are, these older kits. Actually, didn't mind putting this one together at all. So here we go. It's our first sniper. And another. And another. Let's get that old camo on there. I will do that this week, and if it turns out pretty good, I'll show you next week. Our fourth sniper. And then the fifth model we've got. Now, in the instructions it shows you here, we could have built another sniper. We had another cloak and we had all this stuff to go with it. I'll go through the stuff that's left on the sprue. But it gave us options to build the kind of heavy demolitions guy. And that is him there. Focus on that a bit better. And that's how he looks. Now, in terms of the other stuff that was left on the sprue, we've got another Camo Cloak. We have 2 more sniper rifles. Some more war gear to go on. Spare hand, a stand for a sniper rifle. So there's a few bits here. Another head. Some grenades and stuff like that to add on. So we get some more bits that we can use to jazz up other minis or change these in the future if we wish to. But yeah, I will say that I quite like those miniatures actually, despite what I say about the older models. I mean, I do have a problem with the heads that come with those, but there you go. So that's a good issue. We've got a decent bit of history. We've got the standout for me really is the details on how to do a camo cloak, and I know that all of that information is readily available, you know, on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But still, I will be taking a look into this. The mission looks quite interesting, although it doesn't tell you must use scouts. So let's have a quick look at this again. Space Marine Army must contain at least 3 battle line units. Battle line units have this symbol on their data sheets. I wonder if maybe we've only got 3 teams that can do that. Interesting. But there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back again next week with the Hemotrope reactor. I'm looking forward to that. I actually have this already, but it's a nice piece of kit, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And then we've got issue 69 after that. And then really, we've not got far to go after that. I believe Mortal Realms kicks off in about 3 or 4 weeks, but that's just rumours at the moment, because there's a company called Forbidden Planet in the UK. They're big on comic books and all that kind of stuff, and their pre-order that they've got for it, I believe, starts from the 2nd of January. So there's no fixed date for it as far as I'm aware, but that's an indication of where it may be. So it looks as though for the last maybe 10 issues of this, we'll be doing it alongside Mortal Realms as well. But there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like and subscribe. And if you didn't, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you later. See ya.